Now you've had your drink.
Hey there! Welcome to another episode of the Godfather Minute. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And together we are the Godfather Minute Brothers. And we're talking about minute number 20.
That's right, Alex. All minute. Repeat after me. E minuto. Numero 20.
Just 20?
20.
Does that literally mean 20? Or because isn't there a drink size called like a venti?
20.
20.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there is a drink size called 20.
Yeah.
Was that because they charge you $20 for it?
Well, seriously, can you believe that? It's outrageous.
Because you got to take out a 20-year mortgage to pay for it. These drinks.
Minute 20, Senator Geary and Mikey finish up their conference, with Mikey saying that not only will he not pay the $250,000 as the senator requested, he would appreciate it if the senator paid the $20,000 for the gaming license personally.
Oh, Alex, I need to correct you.
What?
He doesn't say, I would appreciate it if you put up the $20,000. He just says the cost of the license. Because I have a question about that later.
Okay.
Should we just?
Yeah, we're here. We might as well.
Well, because Mikey says I would appreciate it if you put up the cost, pay the cost of the license.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Does he mean the actual government cost, $20,000, or is he asking Geary to put up the $200,000 that he was going to charge Michael?
And give it to the government?
I don't know. I mean, is that how ballsy?
Senator Geary, why are you giving all right, you don't need to know about what I'm doing. That would be ballsy to say, not only do I want you to put the $250,000, I don't even want you to give it to me. I just don't want you to have it. That's the important thing.
This is a wonderful minute, Alex.
Is it?
I think it's a fantastic minute.
What are the elements about it that you like?
Well, I guess
not disagreeing with you. I just want to hear what you.
It's the very end of this scene, and the previous few minutes were all. It's just a lot of talking, and this all of a sudden was a lot of talking. Now it's finally some body language, some gestures, some quips. Mm-hmm. You know, it's no more Geary racist monologues.
Got it.
It's great.
You like the give and take.
Yeah.
The New York Times, the Daily News.
Yes. Yeah, it's wonderful. I think it's a great minute.
It is a great minute.
What do you got for it? What do you think?
Well, one thing I love, and this is a quote I say all the time, as I'm sure you can testify, is all right. Some people need to play little games.
Yeah, and you need to play yours.
Yeah, I really like that. Because it's condescending on so many levels. Yeah. It's condescending on the all right, like take it easy, settle down. And then also some people need to play little games. So
is that his standard line when someone doesn't immediately give in to Geary? Because it really doesn't make sense. Because the reason Geary says that is because Michael says, you and I are a part of the same hypocrisy, but but never believe it applies to my family. Yeah. It's not like, what do you mean playing games? What does he mean by that?
Well, I think he's saying that Michael is trying to act like he is somehow has some like not pride, but some like he has a head for big deals. Yeah. Like that he has some I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it. Like honor or something.
Yeah.
And so the senator is just like, I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of like you said last week. The senator is also playing a little game because he's like, I reject your masquerade. I despise it. Like that's basically the same equivalent of saying it's not my family. Mm-hmm. But
I'm still
wouldn't
stunned.
have worked if he had said, "I despise you and your masquerade." If Mikey had been like, "All right, some people need to play little games. I'll let you play yours."
That's great. Do you think Mikey borrows that lines and uses it in future negotiations with different people?
That would be a funny thing because ultimately, in a way, it would be giving the senator a victory.
Yeah.
If you took his line and you basically started using it as your catchphrase.
Yeah.
That would be I would be even if an enemy of mine started using one of my catchphrases, then I'd be like, "Oh, that's a..."
Wouldn't you be mad that they're stealing your tagline?
No, because I know that I would know that Mikey would know that he stole the line from me. And every time he says it, some part of him would be like, "Oh, that's like..."
But what if your colleagues started coming? What if from that point on, when you said that line, your colleagues said, "Oh, that's what Mikey said. That's his line."
Yeah, that would
then you'd
be...
have to argue, "Oh, he got it from me." And then you're
there for me.
Yeah, all right. So,
he stole my gosh, it never ends.
Yeah, I love that line. And did you notice when Michael says that line to open the minute? Says, "Never believe that it applies to my family." It cuts to Geary, who says that line, and he's just disgusted.
Yeah.
Geary kind of turns his head to the side. He throws both hands up. He's like, all right. It's such a funny reaction.
That was the body language you were referring to earlier?
Yeah, he waves his hands. And this is great. And it's especially funny considering that was Michael's one line.
Yeah.
And Geary just dismisses him after Geary goes on and on about with this racist tirade, racist monologue.
It would have been better if he interrupted him.
Yeah.
If he was like, "Senator, don't think that applies to my family. We've been doing good. All right. The other funny thing, the other annoying thing to do to someone is to act like it bothers them more than it does. Like almost in a way, like saying like, all right. So it's like, calm down.
Yeah,
It's like you're getting hot under the collar here. but even if you're not hot under the collar, then that makes you more I'm not hot under the collar.
And then he's proved the point.
Yeah.
What would happen if...
I'm calm. I'm totally calm.
All right. Calm down. What would happen if maybe a few scenes from now, Mikey's talking to Fredo, for example, at the dinner table?
Yeah.
And
never talk business at the dinner table.
No, we're not talking business.
Okay.
I was going to say Sonny, but he's dead at this point. Let's say let's say Frankie Five Angels is getting all worked up. He's like, "Oh, they don't play Italian music here."
We do see that.
And Mikey hears Fredo respond to Frankie, and Fredo says, all right, Frankie, take it easy.
Some people need to play little games.
You think Mikey would have some suspicion that he had an interaction with Geary or someone else? Some like 3 degrees of Senator Geary.
If he suspected that there was a traitor already, but at this point he doesn't suspect any traitor.
Yeah,
that as far as we know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it would just be like, maybe later on when he'd be like, "Oh, that's weird," he would notice it because it would just sound funny coming out. But then later on he'd be like, "Wait a minute, Fredo was using that same phrase." Yeah.
Well, and Fredo learned it from Johnny Ola because remember later we find out they met in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Johnny Ola learned it from Klingman. Klingman learned it from Turnbull, and Turnbull got it from Geary.
And Turnbull's a good man. It would be great if Mikey was talking to like Kay, and he's like, "You know what's funny? I heard Fredo use an expression I've never heard him use before." And then Kay was like, "All right, Michael, all right." Some people need to play a little games. Gets all like everyone is in the Senators.
It was a little game, Michael. He was playing a little game. Oh, this little game of yours must end.
Was it a little game? Mikey, it was too early. Okay, was it a game?
Can't you just play the game straight with me, Tom?
then Tom's like, all right.
I know. All right, take it easy. Which, by the way, when Tom says it, you can't relax because
because he yells everything.
Yeah, because when Senator Geary says it, I mean, it's still annoying.
Yeah.
And it's condescending, but it's not amping it up.
Yeah.
If Sonny would say it, I think it would also amp it up, right?
Yeah. Which is funny because
take it easy.
In the original, in Godfather 1, Clemenza tells Sonny to take it easy when he's like, oh, the word on the street is he's already dead. He's like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah. Well, Geary doesn't say take it easy. He just says,
he says, all right. Some people need to play little
games.
And so speaking of games and body language, there's a little cannon on Mikey's desk, and he turns it to face Mikey, which is like really heavy-handed kind of you're overplaying your hand there a bit, Senator. That's great. I mean, I guess the Senator is really cocky and really like. I guess people at that time didn't know because for a long time, like the mafia's existence was denied by like the FBI and they're saying there's no such thing as organized crime, and it's because like watching it, like if I was in a deal with a gangster now and I was like playing hardball with I don't think I would play hardball with a gangster. I might be like a little bit more.
So you think it was because of the era, it was still underground?
Yeah, maybe people just didn't know the reputation gangsters had that but I mean, Jack Waltz knew about
and Geary should know. It's Nevada and Vegas, and he'll know the ins and outs of that world. And apparently he's a fan of the whorehouses, so he mixes it up with the underworld, right?
Well, I don't know.
Spoiler alert.
He might not see that as being. He might just think of that as just like a harmless vice that most people would, don't care about. But
but overcharging for gaming license, now that's a dirty business. Don't get me wrong; it makes no difference to me how people make their living.
I wonder how. I think I touched on it briefly last time. Would Vito Corleone have handled this any differently
than Michael?
Than Mikey does? Than Mikey does? Would Vito be like, come on, Senator, we can work this out? Would he be more like...
That's a great question. I mean, Michael...
Because he had a lot of judges and politicians in his pocket, so he must know how to talk the talk.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe that's just with New York politicians, because they're...
Maybe, because he knows how to play that game.
Yeah.
Well, and you already revealed in your summary that at the end of this minute...
I spoiled it.
Yeah, well, Michael says that he... won't pay, and that he wants the senator to pay.
Yeah.
So that seems
personally,
we'll talk about that. It's just interesting that Michael doesn't yet have leverage against Senator Geary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting that he's not even. It's interesting he gave that response. He kind of stuck his neck out because ultimately, if he didn't get leverage against Geary, he would have had to go crawling back. And
maybe he already does
eat his words.
Maybe he already does know he has that.
Well, maybe
that he frequents the Fredo's places of business.
Yeah, maybe that's what. Maybe that a few minutes ago when we didn't understand that line, Klingman's a good man. Turnbull's a good man.
Yeah,
maybe that was some suggestion, like Turnbull has some role to play in giving us information.
Right, yeah.
Huh. I'm not sure if Don Vito Corleone would have played it differently. I think he would have.
So what do you think you just would have been more...
I don't know. The senator was so cocky and racist.
Yeah.
Turning that cannon? Woo, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
And especially with Mikey, he's a war hero.
That's true,
That could have activated his PTSD.
I think Mikey should always just be wearing his uniform.
And Purple Heart.
Yeah, that would really get respect from... yeah.
Or at least let Fredo wear it.
What, the uniform?
Yeah, he's the one who needs respect.
They gave the uniform right to Al Neri. He got stepped over. Hey, speaking of Al Neri, I want to interrupt our Senator fest for... a couple of weeks ago, we were saying how Al Neri should be grateful because he's a film that will live on forever and he'll always be remembered. But then I was like,
Rancho Deluxo.
We didn't remember what the actor's name was.
We should start using it.
So the actor's name is Richard Bright.
Bright?
Richard Bright.
Oh, okay. That's easy to remember.
Bright.
Richard Bright.
And I looked up some information on him. Interesting guy aside from in 1965, he was in a play in San Francisco called The Beard. It was a 2-person play, I guess him and a woman. There's some lovemaking involved in the play.
Whoa.
And
Al Neary with the beard?
Al Neary with the lady who
with the beard.
Yeah, I assume I don't know if she was the beard or not,
okay.
or what the context of the beard was, but and they got arrested while they were in the middle of the show. The police came up on stage and said, "You're under arrest for
public lewdness,
for uttering obscenities." For uttering obscenities, and so
were they making love?
Well, I think there might have been like some nudity. They were basically, and
wow, 1965. I guess it was before the big hippie revolution.
Yeah, that was
right?
And the ACLU defended him, and they were found not guilty, and it was considered a big landmark case in the loosening of our moral fibers.
Wow, look at that.
He was in some other things besides The Godfather. He was in Oz.
Panic at Needle Park.
Panic at Needle Park. He was in the TV show Oz. He was on
Never saw Oz.
It's a good show.
Yeah. You think it holds up? I always meant to watch it, but...
I haven't seen it for a long time, so I'd be curious. But the good thing about it is that there's a lot of murders in it, and you never know when like a character is going to get murdered. So so it's kind of like
people come and go.
Yeah, and the cast turns over a lot, so there's a lot of different stories going. It's almost like a soap opera, but with criminals.
Wow,
so
crazy.
You should check it out.
I will. Because I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't really like soap operas for guys that have to deal with crime and dark time. Oh, wait a minute. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I got bad news for you if that's the case.
Not that it's just for guys, but I told you my wife said the Godfather trilogy is a soap opera for dudes.
Yeah. For dudes, not even guys, dudes.
Dude, dude, that's just like your opinion.
Let's see how many Big Lebowski references we can
do your Big Lebowski voice.
Hey, man.
Is that it? It's not raspy, right? It's just
no.
Hey, man.
It's more like
Walter, they're gonna kill her, Walter. Oh, you're gonna get a toe, but I don't know. Never mind. I'll work on it.
Okay, yeah, work on it.
I'll work on it.
He was in the film Once Upon a Time in America. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah. Who was he in that?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I've seen that a bunch.
Yeah, he's in it.
A long time ago, but
yeah.
Who is he in that? Interesting.
Fortunately, on February 18th, 2006, he was walking the New York City streets on the Upper West Side when he got hit by a bus.
Oh.
And was killed.
Whoa.
So 2006, he got run over by a bus and was killed.
Was he?
68, something like that.
Oh, man.
And the bus driver didn't even realize he had hit someone until he got all the way back to like Port Authority or whatever, and they were like, "Dude, you hit a guy!"
Oh my god!
And there was no criminal charges pressed against him, and his only punishment was they suspended his license. Suspended license.
Well, come on, we got guys in the transportation union, right? They could work out something. So you're not actually you agree with the consequences of the driver. You were just talking that up to make that joke, right?
No, I feel like he should have maybe had criminal charges.
I mean, he didn't do it intentionally. The guy, he was 68. He probably walked in the middle of the street.
They said he was an illegal he was in a crosswalk with a light on his side, and it was not his fault. It was totally the bus driver's fault.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
all right, I'll take it back.
I wonder what the deal is with that. I was just reading an interesting book about the Beatles. And one of the interviews they had was that John Lennon's mother, when John Lennon was a teenager, Julia Lennon was killed by got hit, and it was also died in a car accident. It was hit by an off-duty policeman, and she died. And the interview was with the guy who did it. Because he said, like, when the Beatles, like years later when the Beatles became famous, and then he saw, like, John Lennon, and he was like, oh my God, that can't be the same. And he was like, he never told his family or anything about it. And he's like, it's going to come out now that John Lennon is famous. So,
who knew and who didn't know?
He knew. Yeah. Obviously he knew. And
why would he think it's going to come out now if no one
because
knew?
the Beatles were, the Beatles were famous, and people were interested in their. And he saw, like, in the newspapers, like, an article.
But did anyone besides him know?
Well, I assume some people at the police force probably knew about it.
So was it a cover up when his?
No, it wasn't a cover
killed?
up. It was just like like this thing.
So did John Lennon know?
John Lennon never didn't. I don't know if he knew the guy's name or anything, but he knew that he was hit. He might have known him for all I know. But
so some people knew, but he was now worried that now that John Lennon was famous, like people that did know would start to talk about it, and more people would.
Or just because John Lennon was famous, people would be looking into John Lennon's
so there'd be
background.
More investigation.
Yeah, they would be like, "Oh, what was the name of that?" And so weirdly, the guy was no longer a police officer; he was a mailman, and he would deliver mail to Paul McCartney's house. So he'd be like delivering fan mail and knowing, like, oh my God, like this is,
Oh my God.
So yeah, isn't that crazy?
And it was still under wraps.
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean, legally it was not, it was a closed case. It's not like he was worried about getting busted, but he knew that everyone was now going to know that he was the guy who killed John Lennon's mother.
Wow, that's one of those weird Beatles things, right? Factoids, like Paul's dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. And so do you think one time, right as he was dropping off the mail, he heard them writing songs inside, and he's like, well, let's write a song about my mother called Julia.
Yeah.
Right? Yikes.
Yeah. So here's the tip. If you're going to kill somebody in an accident, don't do it with somebody who's going to become famous or was already famous, like poor Richard Bright.
Yeah. Richard Bright.
Yeah,
wow.
B-R-I-G-H-T.
You think when Richard Bright was in Beard and was in that landmark case, do you think he realized at the time, wow, that's going to be my 15 minutes of fame? Look, this is a national event, so to speak. But little did he know that he would be in a movie that he'd be even more known for.
Well, or was he thinking like, well, this is it. The publicity I get from this, I'm going to be like a big star.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Maybe it was the stepping stone.
Yeah.
Little did he know that everyone would know him as the guy who got hit by the bus in New York.
Or the guy who killed John Lennon's mother.
Oh, no.
Well, anyway, back to The Godfather.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah.
So Senator Geary says, I want my answer and the money by noon tomorrow.
Oh, that's not a lot of time, Alan.
That is not.
It was $200,000 he was asking for?
250 grand,
250 grand, small bills, cash. All in that little purse. Does he think he wants it in a little purse, too?
Oh, like a satchel with the money kind of hanging out.
No, like in Connie's wedding purse.
Oh, a silk purse.
Yeah,
Got
small bills, cash, all in that little wedding purse.
Maybe they could just go around the party and collect, kind of like the wedding,
Senator, if you give me 10 minutes, I'll have your money now.
So now I want to know
great if Mikey goes outside to the pavilion and announces it. He stops the boys choir because he hates the boys choir, the Sierra Boys choir, and he says, "I would like to make an announcement because, of course, my jaw is still broken. Pardon me. I need everyone to chip in money because our wonderful senator is charging me $200,000 for the gaming license." Whoa!
So I mean, there's got to be at least probably 150 people at the.
Yeah, what is that, like $100 each?
Yeah, that's really not that much.
Not that much.
Although it is 1958 or whatever, so that's.
Yeah.
That's more back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, the question is, I want to get to know who is the real Andy Robinson.
Who is the real
Andy
Robinson?
Have you ever given someone a deadline and an ultimatum like that? Like, I want this by this time. And has it worked? I mean, I assume in your job, maybe you probably have
There are deadlines all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for money,
yeah, or in a kind of unofficial thing where there's no real, it doesn't have to be then, but he's just obviously just setting, it's not like the senator's like, well, I have to have it by the end of the day because the business closes the quarter and it's going to throw up my taxes for the rest of the
that's
year.
right. When I was in high school, there was a guy who got concert tickets.
Okay. All right. Some people need to go to godfatherminute.com/support if they want to hear the rest of the show.
And if you don't become a financial supporter of the show, you can have my offer now. Nothing.